Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, Exeter NH.
Introductions, I wrote down who's here. Public comment. You don't have anything. Approval of the minutes. I know we can do the January 17th meeting because you were there.
Yep. And that looks fine to me.
The only thing I had was, it's just a word that needs to be changed. And do I have that? Yeah. On page 2, line 51, it says, a question, what will prevent cards? It should be cars.
Yeah.
So that's the only change that I have. So beyond that, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended for the 17th.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So those will be approved.
I looked at the minutes of the trustees meeting, but since I wasn't there.
Well, you know what, and we actually, there was a lot of questions that were asked, so I just kind of gave a synopsis.
Yeah.
I took notes. I know Peter Lennon took notes, but a lot of it was questions about the trust, about what the town is doing with their portion of bringing all the trusts into one thing. There were some questions that he couldn't answer about costs because they didn't have it, because they didn't know. So at the end of the day, we all just decided that because the fund in Ohio is paying a guaranteed 5%, and the maintenance cost, if you will, is about $1,600,
Yeah.
but that includes the taxes, which again, some of that discussion centered on taxes for the trust funds in the town too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who was doing, if they were even being done, because I looked at all my paperwork. We're not a nonprofit, so there has to be a tax form filed. So there was a lot of other questions too, Dave. So I didn't want, I didn't get into writing all of that stuff down. Again, it was kind of a synopsis of what we talked about with the Parkway, but we also had some discussions. There was discussions around some of the other trust funds and how things were going, and
I just looked at the numbers and it looked healthy.
so yeah, I mean, it's a guaranteed 5%,
Yeah.
and they are taking care of all of the tax litigations and managing the fund. So again, we said we'd leave it out there for a year, see what the costs of the other
Well, it
funds.
works out to what, 0.75% or something, for half, 0.75%
Yeah,
for them to manage
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yes. So
It's no big deal.
again, over the years, I know that even before I was got involved with the Parkway, I know there had been talk, different select board members would say, why don't we bring this back here? Why is it still in Ohio? Yada, yada, yada. And nothing ever happened, nothing ever became of it. But I think if anything, doing that little bit of a deeper dive into it, that Peter and Corey did, and I think, we made the right choice for the time being.
Right.
So, okay. The next thing is the request by the Drum and Bugle Corps. Now,
Kenny's gonna love that.
well, we can't really say yes or no to them because they have to go to the
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But the reason that this is on here is because if you had read the email, the director has a service dog, and they asked if the service dog could come and be with her. I wanted that to come to us and for us to say either yes or we really can't say no. But I wanted it in the minutes that these people asked us if it was okay, because
I would have absolutely no problem with that.
me neither. But I didn't want to leave that to
Can I shed some light on
somebody.
that?
Sure.
We talked to the police department, we being the select board, back when we were looking at all the parks and such, Swasey being
Right.
one of them. And there were signs up that say no dogs. If, for instance, police officer saw a dog there, if somebody says it's a service dog,
And the
they gotta
story.
back off.
Right.
Yeah.
No, correct. And I
Yeah.
Would be that it'd be
Yeah.
appropriate.
and I remember you saying that. I just I guess I wanted us to say yes. And then I will let her know that she has to go to the rec department and fill out a form and
And if they're
get that
gonna,
approved.
unless it's extremely dry too, I'd prefer to have them in the road. Or is that what they're thinking?
No, she was talking about using the
The
grass across on the pavilion.
That's
I will let her know that.
That's already kind of stressed. And,
Yeah. Well, it's really stressed, not kind of. It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
And we just absolutely don't want to tear it up.
right,
But they can do their thing in the road.
right,
That's where they go on parades. That's what they do.
right.
So
So I would like to make a motion that we, how do I want to word this? That we discussed her question about having the director have her service dog in there, and we are fine with that.
sure.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, let me write this down before I forget it. The trustees.
But like Nico said too, it's kind of redundant too because of the way the law is written.
Trustees discussed letting the director.
That was going to be in April sometime, wasn't it?
Yep. Bring the service dog in the parkway. So motion by me.
What was the date again they were going to do that?
Well, they weren't sure. It was either the last weekend or the weekend previous. So I think it's like the 17th, 18th, or 20 something.
Okay.
So it's
I was gonna-
it's towards the end of April.
If I see Kenny out on the street, I'll mention it to him.
And I don't know how big of a drum and bugle corps
Yeah, I
there
don't
is.
either.
So
But,
I just understood what you said.
just pit and boss.
Yeah.
It'll save somebody a phone call.
so you second that?
Oh, it's a motion, sure.
All those in favor? Aye. Yeah, like I said, there were several emails that went back and forth because it went to Pam and then she sent it to me and Greg and then Greg got involved and I said, hold on, time out. I would like to discuss this at the trustee meeting and then I will let her know that she has to go to the Park and Rec to fill out a form and there'll be a fee. Because in the email that Pam sent, she asked, I think I forwarded to both you guys, she asked about the service dog. And again, I wanted us to have a little bit of.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, what time of day are they thinking
of? They didn't really say.
I would imagine it'd be like morning sometime.
Yeah, they didn't really say.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. I think once she hears back from us, then, and they weren't sure which weekend it was.
Okay.
Greg will get the details.
Because if it's like a 6 a.m., if it's a 6 a.m.
No, I'll listen, I'll tell her that, there is
a sunrise march.
well, there is a, what do you call it, noise ordinance, so.
They'll scare all the eagles away.
Those eagles don't care about anything down there. It doesn't matter what's going on.
They're so bold now.
I was down there when they were doing the fall cleanup and they were blowing stuff right underneath that big pine and the eagles were just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun to watch, actually. Siphon project update. So I know it's on the town website. They have the first pilot hole through. They were going to start the beginning of this past week with the second hole. They are thinking that they will be out sometime mid-June with everything, with the whole project. So the landscaping on both sides of the river, the pipe, everything finished.
Now, are they responsible for tying it into the pump station there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
That's the last part of it, right?
yeah. So there was some talk because they may have to still dig across the road to get the pipe low enough to match in with the other pipe. Because right now the pipe comes across the road and comes up, and it has to be a certain depth. So they're not, they weren't 100% sure until they get both pipes in as to if they have to dig up the road still or not. So that would, because they still have some paving that's on the construction meeting notes. They still have some paving. I think actually for a date they gave, I think June 19th is what they're looking at to be all finished and pulled out. But again, that's subject to change.
As always.
Yeah. But everything was a lot more positive from all of the people involved in the meeting last Wednesday. So,
Yep.
And then I just put other business. It was just, we have all of those place markers that.
Well, couple things. One, I talked to Will Curtis.
Yep.
And it's continuing to remain dry. We've got a little precipitation coming up, but not bad. And he's out of town. He's leaving tomorrow, and he'll be back working the week of the 4th. And he said he went down and looked at the tree, and he's going to expedite and get it done that week because it's declining.
Yeah. And I was thinking, has a pileated woodpecker got in there yet?
I haven't heard one.
Yeah.
And I would hear it from my house, I think.
Yeah.
Those things are loud.
Yeah.
Anyways, Will's going to get on that, approximately 2 weeks or so. And then, I cut through there at night a lot when I'm walking home from restaurants and meetings, stuff like that. Why don't we get the streetlights turned back?
You know what?
That would be so pretty.
No, I wanted to bring that up. And it's too bad that Darius isn't here. So I talked with the town maintenance person, Jeff, because I have gotten a couple of texts and all about the streetlights not being on. Him and I talked about this. He wants to wait until after they get done digging whatever they're going to be digging for the siphon project. But the other challenge with that, and I don't know if you guys remember, I had talked about this because they have a bunch of different electric guys in there and all. Some of the parts are obsolete because I had asked him about the water level getting up in there. If the water level gets up into that box, it's going to trip the main box that's down at the end because that's where it's tied into at the end of the
Why don't we
parkway.
just
So it has to be all rebuilt.
Well, why don't we
Basically.
eliminate the eyes, and then down at the main box put a timer? Because I mean, it doesn't have to be on at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I think
Because then you could seal those posts.
I can talk to Jeff about that. But again, that project it's going to require a kind of a whole rebuild type of thing. And I think some of the concern too is, if they hit a wire, because and I'm trying to think, they cut that they cut that Crimson King maple down. They pulled the stump. I don't know, because I said to him, I said, listen, there could be a wire for the lights that goes by that, because it was relatively close to the.
Sort of, yeah.
I don't know if they might have damaged that wire for the lights. I don't know.
Could he at least run a continuity test on there to make sure that the wire's intact now?
He may be able to. Yep, I can talk to him. Because I was down there to see him about something else, and we talked about the lights. And I agree with him. Let's let the construction get out of there, because if it is an entire rebuild type of thing, and I'd just as soon have them do it right, because I know when they fixed it before, even at that point, it was kind of a mismatched patch type of thing. So,
well, there's no question those posts are getting submerged occasionally.
yeah.
And if it's hardwired and sealed in there, and there's not components that you're trying to protect, that would be a much better situation, I think.
So it's on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when he said, Dwayne, I really would like to wait until they get done digging in there, that siphon project gets done. You know what? I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that I did want to bring that up.
Okay, good. I'm glad you were thinking that too.
Yeah. Because again, I've had a couple of Mark Damsel. Hey, the street lights aren't working. There's only one that's on way down at the end. Yep. And they're going to stay that way for now, Mark.
I just the aesthetics of it.
No, you're right. You're right, Dave. And you know what? I mean, people have said, well, the parkway's supposed to be closed from dusk till dawn. Listen, I get that. But you're right. The aesthetics and
you look across the river, and I mean, if you were in Europe, they wouldn't turn off the lights when the sun went down.
Right. And if somebody really wants to walk down there, I mean,
there's people walking down there all the time anyways.
Exactly. So
I pass somebody almost every time I go through there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it will be addressed once.
And we should also think LED bulbs and all of it.
I think they've already replaced them. I think there are LEDs in there.
Okay, good.
And again, that was part of the challenge, because some of the eyes would work with LEDs, and then a couple of the eyes wouldn't work with LEDs. So it's
Really?
yeah.
All the eyes do is provide current. What do you think?
It's how, what the eye is hooked up to in there. And,
Oh, well, whatever.
yeah. I talked to the electrician when he was down there trying to figure it all out a couple of years ago. And he was trying to explain it to me. And it was just, it's kind of been one of those situations where it's been patched for so long
Yeah.
that now it needs to be,
You really can't do much else with it.
no,
Yeah.
it needs to be all
Okay.
rebuilt. So, and then, I figured we could talk in March about the planning along the Harris Center
Yeah.
fence. And that's pretty much all that I have at this point. Unless you have something
No.
else, Dave.
No. Get out of here. Go there. Shut up. 15 minutes.
The next meeting will be March 20th. And I
This will
will,
be perfect. I told my wife I'd text her around 5:30 to meet at Zara's for dinner. I'm going to be pretty close to that.
and I will get the agenda correct at that point.
I never noticed it till you texted.
Well, the date was right, but the date was wrong. I
I just know third Wednesday.
Yeah.
yeah, I just hate making those
Plus,
mistakes.
Dave reminded me last week, you're going to be there Wednesday. I said, I'll be there Wednesday.
Well, you weren't sure.
I just got in from Boston. I was all on traffic because I knew I was going to be in Boston all
Yeah.
day, but everything cooperated, so we got here at the same time.
So, Dave, anything else from you?
Nope.
All good.
Good. All right. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Nope. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn at 5:27.
I haven't been there. How's the food good?
It's
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.